Okay, so this is now step 2. So first part was to initialize the application and build one controller for the hello message. So now we need to think about having a REST API for a given entity, for instance, people. Okay, so let's build a controller for a resource, and the resource is people. Okay, so let's start a new controller, and it's people controller in the controllers package. Okay, we can organize this by kinds of classes or by business, by logic. And of course, yes, I want to add this to Git. You can already see on the repository of this demo all the steps that I will take. Okay, so again, this is, let me zoom in a bit and take the project out of the way. So this is again a REST controller, and all operations on people are under /people, and notice to use a noun or the plural of the resource, so persons or people as a base for all operations on this resource. So refer to the lectures for how to organize a RESTful API. So again, I'm not using Swagger here. I'm just doing this one by one. So what we have now is methods that will attend the requests. So we'll have the following URL. So people, and we'll have a get method. Okay, so I'll have people, and we have a post method, and then we'll have people with ID, which means, and let me already make this on the proper form. So get means get one element. So people ID with a post. So this means a new person is inserted. This means all the people, all the persons are returned in a list. One particular person, and sorry, it's not post, it's put. So update one person, and on one person we will have delete. Okay, so let's make one method for each one of these URLs. So let's start with a get method. So I can do in two ways. So I can say, okay, the value of this request mapping is empty, so it's /people. So the value of each method is appended to the URL given above, and I can indicate here that method is equal to get. Okay, so now I will have to define a method that returns an iterable of person. So something that will iterate on persons, and it's get all persons. Okay, let's do this, like return, and this now just returns an empty linked list. Okay, it should be fine. Well, of person, of course, because we don't need this, but we do need to define class person, not on controllers, but on model. Okay, so yes, so let's say that persons have names and that persons have an ID. This will be necessary. Okay, so this is fine. So let's continue now to implement this controller. So a way of making this declaration of which URL or which method to attend is to use a specialized annotation. So it's get mapping, and get mapping stands for request mapping with method get on the URL given as parameter. Okay, so this is a bit shorter than request mapping. So we can continue and implement a post mapping on the same URL. So it is to add a new person to the system. Okay, so in order to add a new person, we will expect a person object to be given. Okay, and this person object is given in the body of the post request. So to say that variable p is to be extracted from the body of the request, we just use an annotation request body. And this, in this case, p is extracted from the body of the request. So let's print out p and return just to check if the value as a parameter is recognized. So let's try it. Stop and rerun. We will try and rerun the server. So everything should be okay by now. Okay, it started. So it's a post request. We will try with Postman. So I have a post request on p, which is the URL we were treating, and I have a person as a body of an application JSON is the format of the body. So if I send the request, the answer is 200. So everything was okay. And if we go here, it printed out one person. Okay, so let's check again and see the name of the person that is being, well, not this, but with get name. Yes, of course, we forgot. And these are with different packages, so I couldn't access name. Actually, this should be private and also name. So the objects I'm using to communicate should be POJOs, or plain old Java objects. So this means that they should have a constructor, and the constructor should be empty. At least you should have the empty constructor, and getters and setters for all the fields. Okay, so in this way we can have an object and already have get name here. So let's see. Spring is running. Okay, let's leave the console open. And if I click send here again, I should have an answer somewhere. So here, get Maria back. I get John back, it's fine. And if I get this one, I'm having 200 as, okay, so I'll have John Doe as an answer. Somehow it was not visible. Okay, so declaring a person, a parameter as being in the request body, and that type being a bean with getters, and the public constructor is the way to go. So next, we will have to implement the other path operations. The other operations on the path we just defined over there. So just declare ID, and we use the brackets, the curly brackets, to say it's a path variable. So to do a get on such a URL, we expect person to be the result. So get one, that should be the name or something similar, and the input parameter is the identifier. So if on the previous request person was on the request body, this one is on the path. We just annotate the parameter as a path variable. Okay, so and this name ID, the name of the parameter, doesn't have to be the same as the path variable I'm using in the specification for the URL, but it's a convenient way. I can customize it here, saying, for instance, person, okay, and having person over here. But that is only if I have to customize some way. The default is to use the name of the variable. So in this case, I have to return person. I will return a person, and I will build here an example. Okay, Jane Doe, it is okay, doesn't constructed, it does not exist. Let's create it. So this is the identifier, and this is the name. And of course, this dot name equals the parameter name, and this dot ID equals parameter ID. Okay, so this is the constructor. So let's try it out. Okay, so again, use postman. If I do get on some ID, it will return. It doesn't care which ID is. So what? How do I get this out of the way? So if I, okay, if I just send this request, it will return the exact person I just specified. Okay, so let's get this away. So getting back to the controller, let's implement the rest of the URLs. So again, it's not a post, but a put. Okay, so put is an update, so it's a void operation, and update person is okay. And of course, I will get the ID from the path and the person information from the body. But we will need some annotations. Path variable on this one, request body on this one. Okay, so let's see. So if now one thing is what is valid, the identifier is the one on the URL. So it must, in order to the request to be valid, person P should have the same so the same identifier than the given parameter. Okay, so if this is okay, so this should be okay. P, which is the person, is updated. Okay, else we have an error. We will see later how to translate these errors into actual, well, it's a bad request, so we should have a 415 or something, or 400. Okay, 400 error, bad request. Bad request. Okay, we'll do that later on. So The other one is delete. So delete mapping. We need an ID on the path. And of course, we have the operation, which is delete person. Again, we will have an identifier from the path. And of course, we will say no. So we don't have any person, so person with ID will be deleted. Okay, so let's check if everything works. Okay, so get works. If I do for instance, if I do a put and I put and I just say that I'm going to update John unknown Doe. Okay, so information that is given, it will give an error. Let's try that one. Okay, so we have an error, bad request. Somehow we will end up, this is still a 200. Of course, we didn't do anything, so but it checks. So if we use the same ID, then this person is updated. Okay, we can, for starters, redefine to string just to say the name of the person. So this dot name. Let's do this just to be a little bit more realistic. Okay, so sending John and undo is so we got the new thing. So if we do a delete on this person, then it doesn't care what is in the body, but person with ID 111 will be deleted. So now we have a controller with for the resource persons that implements all these standard URL. So this is it. So let's finish with this, continue afterwards to the database.